An update on citrus that were planted in ground. These were potted on those mineral buckets. I think they're 15-gallon, and planted this spring right after they went into winter protection in the barn. So decided to plant this in ground and protect them in winter by covering them with frost cloth. And so far they kind of took off. I'm gonna plant in a month probably the Arctic frost that was shown in the previous video. So these are the Satsumas, and we have one sour Nagami Kumquat here. So let's take a look. They're all planted mounded up so that and this is a down slope, so all the water would kind of go in there. And this is just kind of from grass cuttings that they got thrown here when I was mowing. And I'm gonna clear this and then put like mulch here for the winter, bank them up with mulch. Okay. And I will add the Arctic frost here, and this is just right by the tree house. All right, so first one right here, this is we still have the sweet Miho Kumquat in a 10-gallon pot, so I'll probably plant that in the winter on the ground already also. And because this guy, he just went nuts with fruiting. Even though they call it sour, it's actually sweet as long as you don't eat the central membrane. But if you don't mind sour, it almost tastes like the sweet kumquat. The Miho Kumquat doesn't have a hint of sourness. You get a little bit of tart because you eat this with the rind, the skin right here. So this is the Nagami Kumquat. When I planted it, the calipers, right now it's quite big. I don't know exactly, half an inch now, but it was like this when I planted it, so it grew a lot. About a quarter, it doubled in diameter. So Nagami Kumquat. And this is the Owari. Satsuma. Look at how big some of these fruits are. And it liked its location, I guess. There's quite a few fruits, and they're kind of big. The smallest Satsuma we have is the Arctic frost. And imagine if I planted this fall last year instead of this spring, the roots would have been a little bit more established. But they were in a pot for 3 years. They grew a lot of brown bark already, so they're a little hardy. They get damaged at the tip on freezing, so they can take a beating, but you still got to protect them during freeze. So frost cloth is what will cover these. We have several, and we're going to put multiple layers, and then mulch bank the stem also, the trunk. That's the goji berry. We don't harvest goji berry because you can't eat too much of that stuff. Might get upset stomach, so we get our fill. But this is the Owari. Okay, and I think this is the biggest one. Okay, right here we have the Seto. Seto is the biggest one. And they fruit like this every year. They don't take a break, not unlike the Meyer lemon and Republic of Texas orange. This guy's loaded. And we've been harvesting. It's super sweet, by the way. Both Owari and Seto. Haven't tried the Arctic this year. It's just medium size, I would say. The one I tried is really dark orange like this, so it's really sweet. And they can hang on until frozen. Citrus, they're like your own refrigerator. You harvest them as you need them, but eventually they don't spoil. They can be here for months. I mean, I could have harvested this when they were green and they would still be slightly sweet. You can eat them already. But waiting for them to turn. But you can harvest this now, even though they have a slight green. But you can also leave them here, and they, as long as it doesn't freeze yet, they're just there hanging, like all citrus. Like lemons, if you don't need your lemons, don't harvest them. Leave them in the tree and then harvest them as you need them. All right, Seto, right here, and this is the Miho. Maybe it's in the wrong spot. It gets some shade. During summer though, it gets a lot of sunlight. So as you can see here, it died on the top. And this is already kind of problematic before I even transferred it. It has some damage during winter, and as you can see right here, there's a lot of damage. So there's dead roots right here, and it's hanging on to that one. So, and Lolo, you're not helping rocking the trunk like that. So I'm not putting too much hope on this one. If it makes it and then seals that, it grows and it fixes itself, that's fine. If it doesn't make it, it's also okay. I already got so much fruit from this. The only thing is it's 3 years old. It's been with me for a while, and I hope it recovers. But I'm going to still protect it this winter, and hopefully it does, because it's alive right here above the graft. It died right here. Also, I didn't water these at all. There's a bunch of mulch right here, and then the grass just kind of grew on top. There's a lot of, I'm worried about root rot, so I didn't water them during our 2-month drought, and they are fine. So I keep checking them there, so maybe that one is kind of bad spot, but that's also downslope. So all right, so this is the Owari, Miho, Seto, and the Meiwa Kumquat. I mean, Nagami Kumquat, not Meiwa. This is the sour one. And this is where Calamondin came from. It's a crossbreed of, I think, Nagami and key lime. And Calamondin, Calamansi came from that, based on what I read. And kind of makes sense. For garnishing and all that, we still prepare Calamondin. From the previous video, you probably saw the Calamansi or Calamondin are loaded. And we're gonna start harvesting this. Since this is considered sour, we're gonna wait until it's dark orange or fully yellow. But even that one right there, green, it's still sweet, the rind. All right, and one last look at Seto, which is quite loaded. Hey Lolo. And this one probably will harvest. This is the most saturated color. All right.